So here, our peach season is just ending, and I've been doing a lot of drying of fruit on my solar food dryer outside. So the time has come for more savory things. So I'm going to show you what I've got on my food dehydrator, my solar food dehydrator right now. I bought one of these old style mandolins from, geez, where did I buy it? Amazon a few years ago. You can have thick cuts on it or thinner cuts, French fries, juliennes. I like to use this to keep nice uniform pieces because obviously uniform pieces dry at the same time. Got my hand guard here, and I'm just going to quickly slice up this onion. This onion and the other purple onions I have in this bowl were a test that I did. I went to the grocery store and bought a bag of those dried boiling onions. You know, the ones they have in the produce section, but they're already dried. And I planted them just like an onion set that you might get from the garden supply store for, I don't know, a third of the price. And they grew, which was really fun. Now I'm going to dry them. I also have white onions on the dryer and a few other things, so let's go check it out. Before we get out there, I wanted to show you this. This is one of these big metal bowls that you might use to mix like a big huge potato salad for a family gathering or something like that. This is a 2-gallon container, and so I'd say they're both about 2 gallons. These are all dried peaches that I picked from my own tree and from down the street. I have 2 bowls of this size and just a little bit left drying on the solar dryer, which I'll show you in a second. Overall, this was about 40 pounds of peaches. Oh, god dang, they're good. That has dropped down to about maybe 8 pounds total. So, what was that? About a fifth of what I picked is what I end up with as a product, but they're so super sweet. They're wonderful. I leave the skin on, and I cut them actually pretty thick. I'll show you some pieces I have out there so you can see how thick they are. I did used to remove the skin, but since I'm picking organic peaches, I just leave the skin on, and it adds nice little tartness to it. And the fuzz is all gone, so it's just another piece of the fruit. More leathery-like. But all right, so back to the onions and back to the dryer. So what we have on the dryer right now are just a rest of the peaches. And you can see how thick I cut that. Let's see, it's about the size of my index finger, the thickness of it. So maybe an eighth, a 16th to an eighth of a peach at a time, depending on how big it was. And I just laid it out, laid them out for 2 days, and then I came out this morning and I flipped them over so you can see they've got like grill lines on them from the metal mesh, and I just flipped them over so the top can dry, the bottom can finish drying. And these were the tail end of the peaches, so some of them weren't the best looking in the world, but they're going to be great when they're dry. I started drying some zucchini. Did that as a little test. I've done it before. I just wanted to see how it was going to do this year. It did great, so I went and picked more zucchini today and did this zucchini up here. Got more zucchini down here, and now this is all white onion. And I'm just going to finish in over here with a little bit of red onion that we have. So we slice it really thin on the mandolin, and I take the whole slice if I can keep everything together in the ring. Like this one fell apart, but if I can keep them together on the ring, I'll put them down and let them dry, just like that. So again, take one out of the bowl. It's a whole ring. If it moves around a little bit, that's fine. It's 100+ degrees out here. It's going to dry in just a couple days, and they get to be a nice, beautiful, golden caramely, wonderful flavor. I don't have a basement, I don't have a root cellar, so this is one of the only ways that I can actually dry things for over the winter, other than leaving them in the yard or putting them in buckets with straw and dirt or all the other old-time secrets. So I'll go ahead and finish placing all of these beautiful purple onions out on the tray, and then I'll come back and show you how we close it up. So here is our finished project, or product right now until everything dries. You can see everything's laid out nicely here. Onions, rolls into zucchini, follows by peaches. Question I've had before is, will the peaches taste like onions? No, they won't. They don't. They're drying beside or near each other, but not beside each other. We've got these zucchini in the way. I'm going to close the lid now. When we finished doing the peaches, though, we discovered that I had this whole thing full of peaches. And I had 2 more of these large containers cut up of peaches, and they were starting to brown, and what were we going to do with them? So my husband, Stan the man, who comes up with every plan, said, what if we just put peaches on top, and as a temporary fix, we'll get this extra metal mesh, which we did. So we put the peaches on the top cover, and we stapled it down. And that worked very much. So this is just a temporary fix until we can build a second unit. We might have a unit that goes underneath that we can pull out. Might make a higher unit, might make a second unit all by itself, but I just thought that was such a good idea because this mesh is already here protecting the bottom. It's made from the same material, it's just the metal screen meshing. This is more like for animal control. This is for screen doors, but remember to get metal, don't get plastic. If you get plastic, some of the animals can chew through it, like squirrels will chew right through there to get sunflower seeds. I know it for a fact. Those little devils will do it. And again, just to remind you, if you don't have the ability to have a big setup like this, but you do want to try drying outside, you can do something as simple as these kinds of screens, which is how I first started. This is a screen that went underneath a bird feeder. Let's see, I've got a bird feeder over here. I'll show it to you. I think it went with this kind of bird feeder.